It's just punctuation. Oh no. Oh, that's delightful. All right. Whew. Okay. The first thing I'm going to say, because this is going to be really important for this one, is that forward slash escapes a special character and means that it is the regular character. So if I get lost, remind me of that, okay? That's going to be really important for this one. The puzzle name is questionable, and I can see why. All right. I'm going to pull up help just in case. So these are all of the rules regarding regex, and I haven't been using these so far. I'm just going to skim through these really quick. Okay. Okay. Yep. I'm reassured that I did not forget what any of the regex pieces are, so I don't accidentally name something that. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. Let's start. Let's start with our horizontal. Our horizontal is square brackets around a pound sign followed by a question mark. This question mark does not have a slash in front of it, which means that it is the question mark over, wait, where is it? Oh yeah, it's the question mark from the rule that means 0 or 1 in. So this first one is square brackets around a pound sign, and it could be 0 or 1 pound signs, I think. Oh no, wait. Wait, maybe when it's inside square brackets, it never counts. Oh, maybe when it's inside square brackets, it counts as the character and it never counts as the rule. Because it wouldn't make sense to be like, yeah, match against 5 pound signs versus 1 pound sign. Because when it's inside the square brackets, you're not counting anything at that point. Maybe that's what this is trying to teach me. Maybe that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, okay. So I think this first one can be pound sign or question mark. And then it has an exclamation mark. That exclamation mark is not one of our fancy regex things. So it's just an exclamation mark, and it's followed by a splat, which means there's 0 or more of them. Okay, okay. Now we got square brackets again, and I'm starting to feel like my theory that you don't need forward slashes when you're inside square brackets in order to escape the character is making more sense. Because we have square brackets, and then we have a colon, a question mark, and then a semicolon. So I'm thinking that this last character can be either a colon, a question mark, or a semicolon. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. And this one can be either a pound sign or a question mark. Okay. Okay. I'm going to use this one because this one doesn't have a splat. Splat means 0 or more. I really wish, because I'm seeing them use splat, and I have yet to see them have a splat that meant 0 of it. So I really wish that those were pluses instead, because then I could be more certain that there is at least one of them. Okay. All right. So we're going to use that vertical one, and we're going to use this horizontal puzzle to figure out what the first one is. Okay. So this horizontal one, I'm just going to look at the first character. That first character is being modified by open square bracket, open caret, question mark, close caret, close square bracket, right? Which means that since we can have either colon, question mark, or semicolon, or open caret, question mark, close caret, this one ends in a question mark. That's what I currently believe. Let's look at this vertical puzzle to try and figure out the vertical piece here. Okay, so we have parentheses, 2 exclamation marks, or do you see that forward slash? That means that's a question mark. just a question mark, just the character. It doesn't modify anything. Okay, so we have question mark, and then we have an exclamation mark. So this is either 2 exclamation marks or an interrobang, question mark, exclamation mark, or it is semicolon / question mark, which is semicolon question mark. And there's 0 or more of those. All right, so that's our vertical. Now, our first character in those square brackets is a question mark. Yeah? It's a question mark. Yeah. In the square brackets, we have a pound sign and a question mark. This one has to be the question mark, because that's the only one that matches against one of these. We don't have a pound sign in this. Now, pound signs are also known as octothorpes, which I think is a much cooler name for them. Now, our middle one here is question mark, exclamation mark, and that's the one that I think that we're using right now, which means that this one, this next one on the vertical, is an exclamation mark. If we look at our horizontal regex, we have a period inside a set of parentheses. That's a capture group capturing that exclamation mark. If we look at the rest of this regex, I'm going to skip this middle capture group. That's our 2. We have /1 and then another /1, so that's going to reuse this exclamation mark from our first capture group. So right here, we're going to have right here we're going to have an exclamation mark, and then right here we're going to have an exclamation mark. Okay, cool. Now we got to validate this against, and we got to validate this against the vertical. So this first character is being affected by the first part of our vertical regex string, which is square brackets around the character question mark, the character splat, and the character exclamation mark. It is then followed by a dot. A dot can be any character. In this case, that character could be an exclamation mark. So we validate against our vertical regex on this column. Now let's look at the vertical regex on the last column. Let's look at just the section of this regex pattern that is modifying the exclamation mark. We already used the first set of square brackets. Now we're looking at the middle set of square brackets. And these are going to be open square bracket, / open square bracket. / as I was like, this is going to be really important, means that that's just the character. So open square bracket is defining the character set, and open square bracket is in that character set. The other character in that character set is exclamation mark. So this validates against our next vertical regex pattern. Cool, and that could be repeated 0 or more times. So we're currently validating against both of those, which is great. Cool, so that's that one. Let's look at this horizontal regex pattern. So the horizontal regex pattern here opens with square brackets, and it can be either an octothorpe or pound sign or question mark. And then the next character is an exclamation mark. That exclamation mark has a star behind it, which means that it can be repeated multiple times. So this is an exclamation mark. We know that this last question mark is the end of our regex string, which means this is an exclamation mark and this is an exclamation mark. We added these 2, so let's validate them against the verticals. Against this vertical, this one, relatively speaking, is straightforward compared to the rest of them. We've got open square bracket defining our capture group. We've got open caret, exclamation mark, question mark, star, octothorpe, or hashtag. And then we've got close caret, and then we've got square brackets. So just all of the characters on this vertical line can pretty much be any of the ones that we've seen except for like open bracket or something like that. So yeah, that's all of these. That's fine. That passes validation. Let's look at the next one. This one. In this one, the first character is a dot, inside of a capture group, which means that we're repeating that again. Awesome. So much fun. So this is our first capture group. We have a character that could be question mark or pound sign here. And then down here, we have another exclamation mark. Now I want to take a moment. We have a / question mark, and I just want to take a moment to include that one because that has to be question mark because that / means that it's just a question mark. Now we're got a /1, which means we're pulling that exclamation mark from our first capture group. Okay, now we got to go through and validate this on the horizontal, right? Okay, horizontally, if I'm looking at where this is, okay. So we have pound sign question mark. This question mark does not have a slash before it, which means that question mark means that there could be 0 or 1 of that octothorpe hashtag pound sign. Before that comes exclamation mark star. So this one could be a pound sign, could not be a pound sign. We don't know if it's going to be in there. But exclamation mark is included as the second to last character because it's exclamation mark star, which means you've got 0 more. Anyway, it validates against the horizontal regex pattern. Question mark, do you validate? Okay. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. This is the nicest one to validate against. So you've got a dot, which is any character, and that's going to be in this first one. And then you've got in the second one square brackets, semicolon or question mark. That can be either of those. And then in this next 3, it's affected by the last part of our horizontal regex pattern, which is square brackets around open caret, exclamation mark, question mark. And question mark is included in that. Question mark, in fact, matches against all of those regex patterns, so I don't even have to care about where they end or where they start. Let's go to our last exclamation mark that we need to validate against the horizontal. Yay! Okay. So we have parentheses, capture group. That's going to be this first character. Then this next character, potentially this character, have to be square brackets, semicolon, exclamation mark, or quotes. This one or this one can be an exclamation mark, but we also know that this one is that first character because it's /, so it's pulling it from the capture group, which means that we know that this one is an exclamation mark and it's telling us that we are correct. Okay. Now I gotta figure out where I want to start from. Okay. Do you know what? I'm just gonna pick one. Alright, so this is a repeat of this capture group. We're going across the vertical here. We've got the most clues over here. We're gonna play this like Sudoku. They should call this Regex Sudoku. It's much more like Sudoku than a crossword puzzle. It's just my thoughts. Okay. This can be any character. Okay. Vertically, this can be open caret, exclamation mark, question mark, star, octothorpe, close caret. Horizontally, this can be either semicolon or question mark because this is that first one. I want this to be question mark so that this one can be question mark as well because that's going to validate against our dot, square brackets, question mark thing. Okay, cool. Yeah, and that validates against everybody. Everybody's happy and we figured out this vertical puzzle so I never have to look at it again. Let's... Which of these looks the nicest? Let's look at this one. Let's look at this one. This one's good. All right, so our horizontal here, this first character is modified by our square brackets around quotes with an exclamation mark. That just means it can be quote or exclamation mark. But if you look at our vertical, we don't have quotes and we don't have dots or anything like that. So we pretty much know that this one has to be an exclamation mark. Yay, and that can be repeated multiple times. Let's also look at this vertical one. This vertical one ends in a / question mark. So this last character has to be a question mark because that question mark is a, so whatchamacallit. It's got that / so it's just a character. It's not a modifying question mark. All right, yeah. If I get this puzzle right, you have to like send me clap emojis in like chat, okay? Because this is some crazy nonsense. All right, we have a capture group around this question mark, right? This last character is going to be a repetition of that capture group, so that has to be a question mark. Now that means these two characters, as we alluded to earlier, are going to be semicolon, exclamation mark, or they're going to be quotes. If I look at this one, pretty much the only characters that aren't inside our little block here, which contains open caret, exclamation mark, question mark, star, octothorpe, and close caret, is semicolon and quote, so that's an exclamation mark. I am just now realizing that these are all exclamation marks and question marks. I feel a little tricked. I'm beginning to think those are the only two characters we're going to see in this one, and I've been thinking about all the other characters for no reason. Alright, let's look at the last piece of our vertical regex puzzle. Square brackets around exclamation mark, open caret, star, repeated multiple times. Yeah, that's got to be exclamation mark. Because there's no semicolon, there's no quote, and then, yeah, there's no open caret, there's no star in the other one. So yeah, that has to be exclamation mark. Okay. If I'm looking at the vertical, I could have multiples of these. I could have question marks anywhere. This one maybe. Yeah, okay, let's go back to this one. On the vertical, the only one that actually starts with an exclamation mark, I'll repeat the capture group again. So the capture group is 2 exclamation marks, or a question mark, exclamation mark, or a semicolon question mark, right? And then it ends in a question mark. The only one that starts with an exclamation mark is 2 exclamation marks. Yeah, and then this first character on the horizontal is a dot, which can be any character. Yeah. Yeah, that maps. That maps. Y'all, I think I figured this whole puzzle out, and I think I know what shape it's going to make at the end. If you want to try and guess, because I think I've cracked it. I think I know what it's going to be. All right. This one. Okay, so our first character in the horizontal regex string is a dot. That's an exclamation mark. We knocked that one out. The next one is square brackets around either a semicolon or a question mark. We've previously listed out what the vertical characters are and that they do not include a semicolon. So this is a question mark, right? Okay, so this last 3 is square brackets around open bracket, exclamation mark, question mark. Let's take a look at this delightful vertical regex. All right, so our first character right here is the square brackets, and we figured out that was an exclamation mark. Our second character is the dot that follows those square brackets. This character has to be that / question mark. We haven't had any modifiers, no stars, no splats, no nothing. So this has to be that character, which means that if we go down here, these two are square brackets, exclamation mark, open caret, star, close, like that is it. Like those have to be, like these two characters have to be one of those two characters, and it is repeating. Which means that this one, if we're looking at it, on our horizontal, we've already used the dot in the square brackets, which means these 3 have to be close caret, exclamation mark, or question mark. Exclamation mark is the only one that's in both of these. Here's my theory. The rest of these, I'm just going to fill out with exclamation marks. That's my bet. I bet this is a pattern of question marks and an X, and these last 3 are going to turn out to just be exclamation marks. So let's see. Let's see if I'm right. All right, so here we have a / question mark. That's this one. And then we've got a repetition of either quotes or exclamation marks, because that square brackets, quotes, exclamation marks followed by a star means 0 or more of that. We've already got one of them, and I think this is and I think this one's going to be the second. So on the vertical, you have exclamation mark, question mark, blah, 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 blah. You don't have quotes, so it's an exclamation mark. Let's look at this last one. Okay. Okay, cool. We're back at this puzzle again. So the first one, we already figured out. That's the square brackets with carets around the question mark. The second one is square brackets around open square bracket, exclamation mark. So that's just going to be square brackets / open square bracket, exclamation mark, close square bracket, star. That is one regex pattern, like it's a little chunk inside of it. And that means that it's going to be either open square bracket or exclamation mark, and it can be repeated 0 or more times. That is the last regex pattern we were in, and I think that's the regex pattern for these two, because the last section, which is square brackets around question mark / pipe, which is an or pipe ending in a £, that section right there is this question mark, and it doesn't have any modifiers, which means that these two have to be either open square brackets or exclamation marks. Let's look at our vertical. All right, or our horizontal. Let's look at our horizontal. So we have a £, question mark. That means 0 or 1 £. We don't have any hashtags here because it can only be, oh no, wait. Yeah, it can only be exclamation mark or open bracket. So it's exclamation mark. Now we're going to go to this last one. Square brackets, open caret, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark, because we don't have an open bracket. If this validates, I'm serious. I want to see clapping emojis. It validated. I solved it. That was nothing but like a metric. I'm not going to curse on this channel. That was nothing but like a ridiculous number of symbols, and I solved it. And it validated the first time. I'm really happy. I hadn't done that puzzle before. I was very surprised when I saw it. Okay. Whew. Thank you, Lips with a straight bar. Thank you. Alright. Now we're back to the normal stuff. Hold on. I just wanna... This is my cat. She's been sleeping next to me. I'm gonna take a breather and pet my cat. Hello. Good girl, Ruby. Oh yeah. You're a very sweet cat. You wanna go back to napping? Okay. There you go. I had to put a bunch of boxes next to my chair because like she kept trying to like climb on the table and into my lap to be with me. So I just took like a stack of boxes and set them next to my chair so she could sit right next to me. All right. Yeah. Cool.